You don't have to downsize your life to retire in 2026. You can upgrade your peace, and I'm about to show you where that's actually possible. Picture it. The last email you ever answer, then a morning that starts with warm light, a slow walk, and zero rush. But which places make that real without draining your savings? And which ones look dreamy online but quietly punish you with paperwork, hidden fees, or isolation? Today we're counting down 10 countries where many Americans are building a calmer, more affordable, more joyful next chapter, without needing to be wealthy. Along the way, I'll share the why behind each place, the vibe, the rough monthly budget, what healthcare feels like, and what the residency path usually looks like. Ready to see the first surprise on the list? Number 10. Ecuador. Ecuador often feels like a shortcut to a simpler routine. Mountains, coast, rainforest, and colonial cities, packed into a small country with a big variety of climates. Sounds like a travel brochure, right? But the real reason retirees pay attention is practical. Many daily expenses can be far lower than in the US, and the country uses US currency, which removes a lot of stress from budgeting. If you choose a popular expat hub like Cuenca, you can usually find a modern one-bedroom rental around the mid-hundreds per month, depending on neighborhood and furnishings. Add local produce markets where fruits and vegetables can cost a fraction of what you're used to, and suddenly the weekly grocery run stops feeling like a financial punch. Have you ever noticed how cheap doesn't matter if life feels uncomfortable? Ecuador is one of the places where affordable can still feel pleasant. Eating out can be shockingly reasonable. In many areas, a full-set lunch, often soup, a main plate, and a drink, can land around a few dollars. Utilities, transit, and internet frequently come in below US norms, so your monthly total might sit in the ballpark of $1,200 to $1,800 for a comfortable lifestyle, depending on location and habits. Healthcare is where people start leaning forward. Ecuador offers public and private options. In larger cities, private clinics can feel modern, efficient, and surprisingly accessible. A routine visit might be roughly $25 to $35, and it's common to find providers familiar with expat patients. Some retirees carry private coverage that can land around the low hundreds or less per month, while others mix out-of-pocket and insurance depending on needs. The question is, do you want cheap or do you want predictable? For residency, one common route is a pension-based visa, usually requiring proof of a steady monthly income, often cited around the mid-$1,000, such as Social Security or a pension. Once approved, it can open the door to longer-term status and eventually a more permanent footing. But the magic is daily life. Cooler air in the highlands, warmer breezes on the coast, and a culture that can feel community-centered. Imagine a quiet terrace, coffee in hand, and the day moving at your speed. Then realize that's not a vacation. It's Tuesday. Here's a simple way to test if Ecuador matches your temperament. Do you love cool evenings and spring-like days? Or do you feel happiest when the air is salty and warm? The highland cities can sit at altitude, which some people love and others need time to adjust to. So a short trial stay can save you months of regret. And don't overlook the in-between zones where the temperature stays mild all year, because that's often where retirees say they sleep best. One more thing. Community. In many expat pockets, you'll find language exchanges, walking groups, and cafe meetups that make the first month less lonely. But are you willing to learn a little Spanish for smoother friendships and better service outcomes? Even basic phrases can turn a transaction into a relationship. And in retirement, that difference is huge. Number 9. Spain. Spain keeps showing up on retirement wish lists because it offers a rare mix. Deep history, modern comforts, strong public services, and a social culture that doesn't treat aging like a problem to hide. The pace can be slower without being sleepy. Like the country knows how to enjoy time instead of racing through it. Would you rather retire somewhere cheap or somewhere that makes everyday life feel fuller? Budget-wise, many couples target something like $2,000 to $2,500 per month outside the priciest cores. though your number shifts with rent choices. In bigger cities, a one-bedroom can hover around the $1,000 range. Smaller coastal towns and inland cities can drop lower. Bread can cost under $1. Wine can be surprisingly inexpensive. And a casual restaurant dinner often lands around the teens per person. Healthcare is one of Spain's strongest arguments. The public system is widely respected, and many expats also buy private coverage for SPI. Private plans are often quoted around $100 per month, give or take. And major cities offer modern facilities. Here's the cliffhanger. The biggest mistake retirees make in Spain isn't money. It's paperwork timing. A common residency pathway is the non-lucrative visa, generally requiring proof of stable income or savings. People often reference an annual income target in the tens of thousands of dollars. After several years of legal residence, longer-term status becomes possible. If you like the idea of weekend train trips, late dinners, and a culture that values conversation, Spain can feel like retirement with color. And then there's the lifestyle rhythm. Morning coffee, midday pauses, evening streets that come alive. The sun doesn't just warm the weather, it warms the social life. But what if you want that energy with Latin American pricing? Choosing Spain isn't really choosing a country. It's choosing a rhythm and a region. Coastal cities can offer breezes and beach walks, while inland areas can deliver quieter streets and lower rent. Some retirees love Valencia for the city-meets-sea balance. Others prefer smaller Andalusian towns where neighbors know your face. Here's a practical question. Do you want to be near an international airport? Or are you okay with a longer travel day in exchange for calmer living? That one choice can reshape your entire experience. Also, Spain rewards social curiosity. Joining a local class, a walking club, or even a weekly market routine can quickly turn "I moved here" into "I belong here." But if paperwork stresses you out, build in buffers and don't rush deadlines, because the slow pace applies to offices too. Colombia's story is one of reinvention, and retirees are noticing. In places like Medellin and Bogotá, you'll find modern neighborhoods, lively cafes, and growing expat circles that started as "we'll try it for 3 months" and became "we signed a lease." Why? Because the value can feel unreal. Many retirees aim for a monthly spend around $1,200 to $1,800, including rent, groceries, transit, and fun. In Medellin, a furnished apartment in a safer area might be around $600, sometimes more or less, depending on the building and amenities. Utilities can be modest, and a full local meal can be around $5. And yes, Colombian coffee really can be under $1 in many spots, which makes you smile every time. Healthcare is another reason people stay. Colombia's system is often praised regionally, and larger city hospitals can hold international accreditations. Costs can be dramatically lower than U.S. pricing, with private insurance frequently quoted somewhere in the $60 to $100. Range per month. Many physicians speak English, especially in major hubs serving international patients. But here's the twist. The best healthcare upgrade might be the reduced stress that comes with lower monthly pressure. Isn't that what your body wanted all along? For residency, many retirees look at a pension-focused visa, often requiring proof of a stable monthly income around the low $1,000. The process is generally straightforward with the right documents, and longer-term residence can open further options over time. Culturally, Colombia can feel alive. Music, dance, family gatherings, and neighborhoods that invite you outside. If you want your retirement to feel like life is happening, not life is ending, Colombia can be a bold, smart choice. But what if you want tropical island living with easy English? With Colombia, the key is picking the right neighborhood, not just the right city. Medellin, for example, can feel like a collection of mini-worlds. Some areas built for strolling and cafes, others better avoided. A smart move is to rent short-term first, then choose a long lease only after you've tested noise, traffic, and walkability at different times of day. And think about your ideal climate. Do you prefer windows open weather? Or do you want hotter coastal air? Colombia's elevations create dramatically different temperatures without needing to change countries. Also, many retirees say the biggest budget win comes from local habits, shopping markets, using transit, and building a small circle of trusted services. Would you enjoy that kind of everyday immersion? If yes, Colombia can feel like a vivid, welcoming reset. The Philippines is a favorite for Americans who want warmth, beach scenery, and a language environment that often feels easy to navigate. English is widely used, and the cultural connection with the U.S. can reduce that outsider feeling on day one. Imagine stepping off the plane and not needing to mime your way through basic errands. How much does that matter to you? Costs can be extremely appealing. Many retirees live comfortably around $200 to $800 per month, depending on whether you're in a major city or a smaller coastal town. In places like Cebu or Davao, one-bedroom rents can sit around the $400 range, while in smaller towns, you may find even more value. Meals can be cheap. Local plates often around a few dollars, and even a nicer dinner for two can come in well under U.S. standards. Healthcare varies by location, but major cities like Manila, Cebu, and Davao offer hospitals that can feel modern and internationally connected. Procedures may cost a fraction of U.S. pricing, and English-speaking doctors are common. Some retirees buy private insurance in the $50 to $100 range monthly, while others pay cash for many services because the pricing is manageable. The cliffhanger here is simple. You can save money fast, but only if you pick the right city for your needs. One standout feature is the Special Resident Retirees Visa, SRRV, which can allow long-term stay with multiple entry privileges. Many versions involve a bank deposit, often referenced in the $10,000 to $20,000 range depending on age and category, and can include a spouse. Daily life can be relaxed and social. Beach walks, island hopping weekends, and a community vibe that often feels family style. But if tropical is your thing, and you also want big city convenience, plus strong infrastructure, the next country can surprise you. In the Philippines, quality of life can hinge on infrastructure, internet reliability, power stability, and access to a hospital you trust. That's why many retirees start in a major hub, then branch out to smaller towns once they've found their footing. And since the country sits in a region that can see storms, it's wise to choose housing and neighborhoods with that reality in mind. Here's the question. Are you aiming for beach first or convenience first? If you choose correctly, the islands can feel like a permanent vacation. Choose wrong, and simple errands can become exhausting. The upside is that the social fabric is strong. Many expats report being invited into celebrations and family gatherings quickly, which can soften the transition more than any bargain rent ever could. Malaysia doesn't always dominate the headlines, but retirees who land here often wonder why they didn't look sooner. It offers a blend of modern living and Southeast Asian warmth, high-speed internet, modern malls, efficient transit in certain areas, and a food scene that can make you feel spoiled. Do you want adventure or do you want easy? Monthly budgets often land around $1,500 to $2,200 depending on lifestyle and location. Kuala Lumpur can give you the city experience with modern apartments, while Penang offers coastal charm, walkable neighborhoods, and a strong expat community. One-bedroom rent can commonly fall in the $500 to $800 range, and utilities may be modest. Dining out can be incredibly affordable. Street food meals for a few dollars, and even upscale dining for two that stays far below U.S. pricing. Malaysia's healthcare reputation is a major asset, with internationally recognized facilities and widespread English in medical settings. Many people cite costs that can be a small fraction of U.S. equivalents, and private insurance can vary, often quoted roughly from about $60 up to the low hundreds monthly, depending on coverage. Here's your micro cliffhanger. Malaysia is cheap, yes, but it can also feel polished, which is rare. A well-known pathway for long stays has been the Malaysia My Second Home concept, which tends to involve financial proofs and deposits that can be significant, especially for older applicants. Requirements can change, so planning and up-to-date guidance matters. Life in Malaysia often feels smooth. Friendly locals, multiple cultures, and a daily rhythm that doesn't demand you sprint. But what if you want close-to-home convenience? Easy visits back to the US and familiar flavors without US price tags? Malaysia is also a comfort country, meaning daily life can feel smooth if you value convenience. App-based deliveries, modern clinics, and reliable services in many areas. But comfort comes with choices. Do you want to be in the center of the action? Or do you want sea air and slower mornings? Kuala Lumpur can feel like international city living, while Penang often feels more neighborhood-like and walkable. Another practical point. The food scene is a daily adventure, but if you're sensitive to humidity or traffic, location becomes everything. Try living near the places you'll visit most: markets, parks, clinics, because in retirement, short commutes are a form of freedom. And if you're the type who enjoys diverse cultures side by side, Malaysia can feel like 3 cuisines and 3 holidays in 1 week. Mexico stays high on the list for one reason that beats almost everything: proximity. You can live in a different lifestyle, yet still be a quick flight, or even a drive, away from family, appointments, and familiar routines. That closeness can erase the "what if something happens" worry that keeps people from moving abroad. Isn't peace of mind the real luxury? Budgets vary widely by region, but many retirees aim around $1,800 to $2,400 per month for a comfortable life. In expat-friendly spots like Mérida, Puerto Vallarta, or Lake Chapala, you may find modern rentals around $700 to $1,000 depending on size and neighborhood. Groceries can be cheaper, and eating out becomes a lifestyle, not a splurge. Street tacos for about $1 each, or a full dinner with drinks for under the mid-20s in many areas. Healthcare is often a deal sealer. Mexico offers public and private options, and private hospitals in major cities can be impressively equipped while costing far less than comparable US care. Many doctors speak English in expat-heavy regions, and some retirees choose private insurance around the low hundreds monthly, or simply pay out of pocket for many services because the prices are manageable. Here's the cliffhanger. The best Mexican retirement towns are not the ones you see on postcards. Residency options include temporary and permanent pathways, usually tied to income or savings thresholds. Many people cite monthly income targets in the few thousand range, or proof of savings. Over time, many expats move from temporary to permanent status after meeting requirements. Mexico can feel colorful and social. Festivals, markets, music, and neighborhoods where people actually say hello. But if you're craving a nature-first life with a stable democracy and that pure life mindset, you'll want the next one. Mexico is big, and that matters. Retiring in Mexico City feels nothing like retiring near a beach, and both feel nothing like a colonial mountain town. A smart approach is to list your non-negotiables: walkability, mild climate, a strong expat community, proximity to an airport, and let those decide your shortlist. Safety is also local. Some areas are very calm, others are not. So retirees often lean on local expat groups and trusted on-the-ground advice to pick wisely. And don't underestimate the emotional value of being close to home. Quick trips back for family milestones can make the move sustainable long-term. Would you rather be far away and cheap, or nearby and easy? For many Americans, Mexico wins because it offers both, depending on where you land. Costa Rica's reputation has been built over years: nature, safety, and a lifestyle that celebrates simplicity. The phrase you hear everywhere, often translated as "pure life," captures the tone: less hurry, more presence. But can a place be both calm and convenient? costs are moderate and depend heavily on location. Many couples live comfortably around $2,000 to $2,800 per month, factoring in rent, food, transport, and fun. Beach towns like Tamarindo or Jaco can be pricier, especially near tourist zones, while inland areas such as Atenas or Grisha can feel quieter and more affordable. A furnished home might range around $800 to $1,200 in many areas, and utilities plus internet often land in the low hundreds. Local produce markets can feel like a cheat code. Tropical fruit, vegetables, and coffee sometimes coming in far below U.S. grocery pricing. But the bigger draw is healthcare. Costa Rica offers a national system for residents and a private network as well. Many expats note that doctors can be well-trained, sometimes with experience in the U.S., and English is common in expat-centered clinics. Public enrollment can be available for residents for a manageable monthly fee, and private visits can often be around $40 to $50. Residency can be approached through a retiree program that typically asks for proof of a steady monthly income, often referenced around $1,500. Once approved, you can gain benefits like access to the national system and certain import advantages. Here's the micro cliffhanger. Costa Rica isn't just about beaches. It has microclimates, and the right one changes everything. Daily life often includes birdsong, green hills, and sunsets that remind you to slow down. If your idea of retirement is waking up to nature without giving up modern basics, Costa Rica can feel like a gentle reset. But what if you want Europe's charm with a budget that doesn't bite? Costa Rica rewards people who love nature, but it also rewards planners. The rainy season can change how roads feel, how humidity sits in your home, and how you schedule daily life. That doesn't make it bad. It just means you choose your region with intention. Some retirees pick higher elevations for cooler nights, while others choose the coast for ocean air and beach routines. Transportation is another hidden factor. In some areas, a car makes life easier, and in others, you can walk and ride-share your way through the week. So ask yourself, do you want remote or do you want accessible? Costa Rica can do either, but the price and convenience change fast. When the match is right, the country feels like a long exhale. Green, peaceful, and quietly energizing. Portugal has become a standout in Europe because it offers what many retirees crave: safety, warmth, beauty, and a cost structure that can be friendlier than much of Western Europe. Think tiled streets, ocean breezes, and small cafes where time doesn't feel like it's being stolen. Would you trade bigger paychecks for better days? Many couples budget around $2,500 to $3,000 per month in popular areas, while smaller cities or inland regions can reduce the number, sometimes closer to $1,800 depending on lifestyle. Coastal regions like the Algarve can be popular, and a comfortable apartment near the water might run around the low thousands monthly. Food and dining can be far less than U.S. pricing. Local wine under a couple of dollars, and a multi-course meal around the mid-teens in many places. Public transportation can be affordable, and the climate encourages more outdoor living. Portugal's healthcare system combines public and private options, and expats often praise the professionalism. Private insurance can range roughly from about $50 to $120 monthly, and doctor appointments can be around $40. English is commonly spoken in major cities and expat regions, especially in Lisbon and coastal hotspots. Here's the cliffhanger. Portugal can feel like cheap Europe, but the real win is the sense of safety. Many retirees explore the D7 visa route, which generally focuses on passive income and clean documentation. People often reference around the low $1,000 per month per person as a benchmark, though details depend on individual circumstances. With legal residence, you can often travel within the broader European zone, and after several years, longer-term status can become possible. If you like mornings with espresso, afternoons by the sea, and evenings that feel unhurried, Portugal can deliver. But what if you want Asia's value with top-tier hospitals and everyday excitement? Portugal has become popular, which can push rents higher in certain hotspots. So flexibility is your superpower. If Lisbon feels too competitive, smaller cities and inland areas can deliver the same warmth and charm with less pressure on your budget. And even within one city, neighborhoods vary wildly in noise, hills, and day-to-day convenience. Here's a question retirees rarely ask soon enough. Can you comfortably walk hills, or do you need flatter streets? That detail can decide whether you love your mornings or dread them. Portugal's bureaucracy can also be slow, so patience and organized paperwork become part of the cost of living there. But once set up, many people say the reward is a feeling of safety and ease that's hard to price. Thailand is where comfort and curiosity shake hands. You can live simply or live luxuriously, often at prices that still make your US budget look heavy. But the real draw isn't just the cost, it's the variety. Mountains in the north, islands in the south, and a capital city that never runs out of energy. Do you want peace, or do you want peace plus adventure? Many retirees land around $1,400 to $2,000 per month for a comfortable life. In Chiang Mai or Hua Hin, modern apartments can often sit around $500 to $800, with utilities and internet adding roughly another $100 or so. Eating out can be startlingly affordable. Street favorites like pad thai around a couple dollars, and even nicer meals for two, often staying under $30. Healthcare is a headline feature. Hospitals in Bangkok, Chiang Mai, and Phuket are known for strong international standards, and medical tourism is common because costs can be far below US pricing, often cited as 70 to 80% less. A routine checkup might land around $40, and private insurance can range from roughly $60 up to $150 per month depending on age and coverage. Here's your cliffhanger. In Thailand, the best city changes depending on whether you want community, beaches, or calm. For longer stays, many people use a retirement visa route for those over 50, often requiring proof of income around $2,000 monthly, or a local bank deposit in the mid-five figures. The system is well known, with renewable stays and multi-entry structures depending on the exact visa type. Daily life can be colorful without being chaotic. Temples, night markets, beach days, and friendly interactions. Many expats report it's easy to build a social circle. But the number one country on this list combines affordability, modern infrastructure, and one of the most famous retiree discount programs in the world. Curious? Thailand's value is real, but it's not one size fits all. Some retirees choose Chiang Mai for community and cooler evenings. Others choose beach towns for sea views. And others stay near Bangkok for top-tier hospitals and non-stop variety. Air quality can vary seasonally in some northern regions, and that's something to consider if you have respiratory sensitivities. Visa renewals and rules can require attention, so the people who thrive here tend to be comfortable with occasional admin tasks. But ask yourself, does a bit of paperwork feel worth it for daily massages, incredible food, and a low-cost social life? Thailand can offer a balance that's rare, relaxation without boredom, if you pick the right base city and build a routine that fits you. Number 1. Panama. Panama quietly checks a surprising number of boxes for American retirees. Stable economy, warm climate, solid infrastructure in key areas, and travel times that make visiting family manageable. It also uses US currency, which keeps budgeting straightforward. But the standout feature is the retiree benefit structure that can make everyday expenses feel lighter. What if your new country actually rewarded you for being retired? Many couples live comfortably around $2,000 to $2,800 per month, depending on lifestyle and location. Panama City can cost more, especially if you want a high-rise apartment with skyline views, often around the low thousands monthly. Smaller towns like Boquete or Coronado can offer lower rent, sometimes around the high hundreds, while still providing a strong expat community. Food can be accessible. Fresh produce and seafood, and a restaurant meal for two with drinks might come in around the mid-20s. Healthcare is another strong suit. Panama City and other hubs offer hospitals that can feel modern and internationally oriented, often with doctors trained abroad. Costs are frequently far below US levels, commonly cited as 60 to 70% less. While private insurance can be around the low hundreds monthly, routine checkups, dental work, and prescriptions can be easier to manage financially. Here's the micro cliffhanger. Panama's biggest advantage isn't the weather. It's the discounts that keep adding up. Panama's Pensionado program is one of the best-known retiree residency setups. If you can show a lifetime pension around $1,000 per month, you may qualify for permanent residency plus a menu of discounts. Reduced prices on entertainment, transportation, flights, certain medical services, and more. The system is designed to welcome retirees as contributors, not burdens. And the lifestyle? You can mix Caribbean ease with city convenience. Islands on weekends, cloud forests in the highlands, malls and restaurants when you want them, and neighborhoods where reliable internet is normal. It can feel practical without feeling boring. Panama also gives you choice: city skyline living, cooler mountain towns, or beach areas with weekend energy. If you love the idea of modern apartments and quick access to services, Panama City can feel like a convenient hub. If you'd rather wake up to cooler air and greenery, Highland towns can feel like a different world, still connected, but calmer. One underrated advantage is logistics. Shipping, banking options, and travel routes can be simpler than in many places. But here's the question. Do you want your retirement to be an escape or a smooth continuation with better weather and better value? Panama leans toward the second, which is why practical retirees often fall in love with it after the honeymoon phase ends. So which country fits you best? Sun-soaked Europe, budget-friendly Latin America, or island life in Asia? The right answer isn't the one with the lowest rent. It's the one where you can see yourself waking up happy for years, not just weeks. Before you make any move, do a simple 3-layer test. Layer 1 is the body test. How does the climate treat your joints, your sleep, and your energy? Spend time there in the season you'd actually live in, not just the postcard month. Layer 2 is the life test. Can you run your normal errands, groceries, pharmacy, banking, without stress? If daily tasks feel easy, everything else becomes easier too. Layer 3 is the people test. Can you picture building friendships there, not just taking photos there? Ask yourself a blunt question. If you got sick for a week, who would check on you? That's why many retirees start with a short rental, join one local group, and choose a neighborhood based on community, not just views. And here's the biggest myth. You don't need to decide forever on day one. Could you commit to 1 year as an experiment instead of a lifetime as a gamble? When you treat the first year as a test drive, you make better choices. You waste less money and you keep your confidence intact. One last tip. Run the numbers like a business. Track your current monthly spend, then compare it to a realistic abroad budget. Include rent, health coverage, flights, and a surprise buffer. If the savings are real, great. But if the savings are small, focus on lifestyle upgrades instead of chasing the cheapest place. Also, learn the residency steps early, so you don't fall in love with a country that doesn't match your paperwork situation. That 5-minute homework session can save you months of frustration later. A checklist, a folder, and a simple timeline can turn a scary move into a calm plan. And that calm plan is what keeps retirement joyful for you later. Before you go, if this breakdown helped you picture your next chapter, please like this video and support my channel. Your engagement tells the algorithm to bring you more practical, real-world retirement options. And in the comments, tell me which country you'd seriously consider first, because the most surprising answers always show up there.